I got into drugs by peer pressure. The kids in school are doing it, and I thought that was the cool kids, and I wanted to be a cool kid. Well, I'll tell you my first experience with marijuana. Me and my best friend, his older brother, gave us a couple of joints. We took our 10-speed bikes and went up to the woods, and we smoked those 2 joints, and we couldn't ride our bicycles home. We were laughing, falling over so much. So for me, it felt good and felt, silly, and it was cool. Started out social, going to the parties, and everybody doing just that. So I indulged in first drinking, smoking pot, popping pills, and then hard drugs, and it progressed pretty quickly. By the time I was graduating, a full-on addict. We moved to Istanbul, and being just a normal high school kid, a normal high school kid getting high every day. Smoking pot, smoking hashish over there. But then I was introduced to making money with it. But okay, I see a need for this. Okay, so now I'm dealing the drugs. I'm taking the drugs and I'm selling it to people, and I'm making money. I'm making lots of money. I'm making a lot of money. It was pivotal. By the time I was in my senior year of high school and we came back to Texas, as a matter of fact, we got kicked out of the country because of my dealing drugs in Istanbul. The American government knew I was dealing drugs over there, and so they called me in and my dad in and my stepfather and said, you know what, well, we've had enough of this. We're pulling your passports. You're going back to the United States. So we didn't even finish the time we were supposed to be over there. So now I come back over to the United States. There's no black market. There's no need for that. So I have to find another pathway to supply my need for drugs. And then I was introduced to the crystal methamphetamine. So then I'm using it, now I'm selling it, and I'm selling so much, then I get into manufacturing it. So now I'm manufacturing crystal meth, and I'm making all kinds of money. Then the consequences come into play. I didn't want to be in front of my family high on drugs or consumed with alcohol. I moved out here to California, away from Texas, and my family, because I didn't want them seeing me in the condition I was. I can remember it very clearly, sitting in prison and getting a letter from my sister, and it was about my niece. It was a school project, and she entered a essay contest that was a statewide contest, and she came in 3rd place. And what the essay was about is why say no to drugs and alcohol, and it was put on by the law enforcement of Texas. And the letter was about me, about being Uncle Rick, her almighty Ricky, that we could never be separated, and she just looked up to me so much. And then to just being Ricky that they don't know and I don't know them. That's when I raised my hand and said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want a new way of life. What's it going to take for me to go out into society and be a productive member of society and be somebody that doesn't want to drink or use drugs? I was in Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous for many years, thinking if I just go to these meetings and I can be the cool dude, I can hang out with all of these clean and sober people, but I don't need to work any steps. I don't need to have a sponsor. I can just hang out in these rooms and avoid the drugs and alcohol.
I am going on 23 years meth-free, but alcohol is a drug, period. Mm-hmm. And that's what kept taking me out. I almost died because of the DTs, and I wouldn't eat, and I just kept drinking. And yeah, I'm just glad to be alive. My son is what saved me, because one day we were driving and he said, can I ask you something? I said, yeah, sure, what? And he said, sorry. He said, how come every time you drink, you talk about death? Do you want to die? Do you want me to die? The way he said me, like my throat and my heart and my stomach this way. No more reservations, no more little voice in my head saying nobody will know, can have one. And pretty much my son saved my life, and I'm glad I was able to come back alive. Thank you very much.
And it wasn't until I came to realize after several attempts that way and failing and going back and using drugs and alcohol and winding back up in prison, that I knew that there had to be a better way. The light bulb went on. I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. I need to be able to address those core issues. And that's when going back into the meetings and seeing my old good friends that have stayed clean and sober for years. And it's like, well, what did they do to stay clean and sober all these years? And why can't I? And it was working the steps. It was going to meetings. It was getting a sponsor. Turning my life over to a God of my understanding. My relapses, all three of my relapses were behind a surgery, but it starts with reservations. By me not working a good program, I had my guard down. So when I had surgery and given pain pills, and then thinking that I have this under control, an addict never has drugs under control. So drugs for me is a bottle of pain pills that the doctor prescribed to me. Okay, when a normal person is taking one every 4 hours, I take the first one like it's prescribed, and then 10 minutes later, I'm taking two, because now my addiction has caught a hold, and I'm getting high and I'm feeling good. Okay, and then it progresses. By the end of the night, I took the whole bottle, and then when I can't get any more from the doctor or other doctors, then I go to the streets to fulfill my need.
This is the therapeutic community where you're to fix the behavior, your thinking, you know what I mean? What started this? Who made it safe for you to use drugs? It's a complicated program for complicated people. Rick came here, man, and he figured out that this is the best place for him to get his life together. So, he dove right into his treatment plan. He challenged his old belief system. And this is what we got right now. You know what I mean? Someone that's successful and also giving back to the community in a healthy way.
I've had several surgeries in the last 12 years with no relapses because I'm working a program. I'm going to meetings, I have a sponsor, I make a plan. Okay, I'm not holding that bottle. I give it to a roommate. I give it to somebody else to give me the pills as prescribed.
After a while, he went through the program. He started to go to an outside outpatient program where he was, it was kind of like Narcotics Anonymous, but it was more geared toward like mental health. And he was building up like a support group there, and he would come back and share about the things that he had learned over there. And you just saw like this new spark and excitement in his eyes. So, I just sat back and watched the magic happen, and it was great.
Being in construction all my life, this time being sober, getting my contractor's license, and being a proud owner of a company that everybody is clean and sober. Besides going to meetings, I go to treatment facilities and to all the guys and girls that are in there. My dog's over there for dog therapy. I go up into the middle of them and I share my experience, strength, and hope with these guys and girls that I sat right where they're sitting. I share this with them in hopes that one of those people get it. I cannot keep what I have unless I give it away. To give to others what was so freely given to me is there's power in that. There's power for me to be able to help others. But what that does for me, it shows me firsthand that I don't want to feel like that. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Going to meetings and hearing a newcomer share how miserable they are, how miserable their life is, that tells me, hey, you don't want to go back there, Ricky. You remember that. You don't forget that, because one bad decision and I could be back there. One drink, I could be back there, feeling that misery, hating myself, hating everything and giving everything away and having to start all over if I'm lucky. Being an alcoholic, a drug addict, is not the end of the world. And we can change. If we find early on, if somebody's telling us we have a problem, and we realize that we have a problem, we need help. And there's help out there. There's meetings out there. There's AA, there's NA, there's all kinds of A's. awareness. That's it, awareness. I want people to be aware of the problems with using drugs and alcohol.